on our back. There's no ballot here.
It's an agenda.
It's an agenda. On our agenda here, we have all sorts of people who are going to speak about using our resources. What I'd like to say in terms of introducing things is we want you involved, and we have so many ways in the league to send information to you electronically. Now, I'd like all of you to carry a specific message. The website is back. And we had glitch yesterday, but that's fixed. And so a lot of people may be feeling frustrated right now because we have had some problems with the web. And we feel like, especially on our volunteering tab, that people are like, God, I can't even use this system, right? But it is back. And we have our communications team person here, and a reminder to us that we could give messages in the voter meeting that we did experience some things, but the website is back. And in terms of talking with everybody about advocacy, and I have a lot of ideas of involving people, but what I wanted to actually start with is a reading. And this is a really helpful reading. And it is an editorial that appeared on the League of Women Washington, Resisting Threats to Democracy. This is the kind of stuff that Anne is going to talk with you about. But it also answers a really important question. Says, what does it mean to be nonpartisan and political? The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization whose purpose is to promote the informed and active participation of citizens in government. Our mission is to empower voters and defend democracy. At our core, nonpartisanship is not just a policy, it's a bedrock principle that defines who we are at the League of Women Voters. As a membership organization committed to empowering voters and defending democracy, we do not support or oppose political parties or candidates. Our focus always has been, and will continue to be, on issues that matter to our communities, ensuring fair elections, protecting voting rights, and strengthening democratic institutions. Our foundational principle of nonpartisanship says the League shall not support or oppose any political party or candidate. But nonpartisan does not mean non-political. Right, so that's a very good phrase. It's a phrase. When we talk to you, and we're going to talk to everybody today about us giving you resources that will help you be an advocate. Nonpartisan does not mean non-political. The League has always been a political organization, advocating for voting access for all and working on vital issues of concern. So again, isn't this interesting? I really want to say, we are political. Political doesn't mean party, right? Political is just the word for taking part in the whole system. Our work is advocacy is issue-based, and we arrive at our policy positions through careful study and input from our members. And I have an announcement. From the state of Washington to our national convention just last week, we produced a position for what is called concurrence at the convention. And we said, welcoming immigrants. We needed to update our old policy program initiative that said immigration, and we have changed it, and it has come from our state, and it was just adopted at the convention. We have a lot to say about what's going on with ICE right now. It troubles us deeply. We provide voters with information on where candidates stand on key issues, host nonpartisan forums and work to ensure every eligible voter has access to the ballot. Our goal is to empower our voters with facts, not tell them who to vote for. Facts. Once individuals are elected, they are no longer just candidates. They are public servants responsible for representing all their constituents, regardless of party. Holding elected officials accountable to the public interest is not a partisan act. It is a vital function of a healthy democracy. When we advocate for or against policies based on our mission and values, we are doing so from our commitment to issues and strengthening civil institutions, not out of allegiance to any political party. In essence, we are pushing for action on voting rights, democracy, protection in other areas. Remaining nonpartisan does not mean staying silent. When democracy itself is under threat, when voter access is restricted, or when misinformation spreads, we have a responsibility to speak out clearly and forcefully. So, welcome to advocacy, all about advocacy. So as I welcome you, I would also like to welcome guests. And I happen to know of two wonderful guests, and they are Nancy and Wanda, here from AAUW. Are any of you also a member of AAUW in addition to the league? Our national organizations have partnered. So the league does not always partner with organizations. We collaborate with organizations, right? But we partner with AAUW, the American Association of University Women. Now, Brenda, shall we take off? So we're going to take off and tell you some of the things that we did do at our very packed May meeting. And that is Brenda. Brenda is our webmaster. If you have a question about the web, Brenda,
you just bring up our website and I'll tell you where to go.
Does anybody just have a question about our web? It's amazing. Spend time with it. Brenda makes things happen so fabulously and rapidly.
And sometimes things happen that I did not expect.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I lost
but
it.
I will not make that mistake again. John is going to bring up our website, and I'm going to walk him through finding the document that we're going to go over that, since I didn't make it to the annual meeting, we didn't get to see. Bill?
Yeah, can you hold the microphone a little bit more so we can hear you more close to your mouth?
Okay, I don't want to get reverb, so I'm trying not to. Okay, so here we are. And I can see that John is already logged in because it has his name in the upper right corner.
Yeah, but they can't see it yet. Now they can. Okay.
And you can see near the top we've got the big blue menu bar with home, about the league, voter information, member actions, volunteering, resources, committees, event calendar, blogs, news, documents, and contact us. The thing we're going to look at today is documents. So go ahead and click on the documents menu, John. And I have streamlined the documents menu so there's not that many folders so you don't get lost thinking, where am I going to find anything? The annual meeting was a business meeting, and so things that we did are found in the business records folder. He's going to click on that. And we've got a 2026 annual meeting. Those are the things that we looked at the annual meeting. We've got annual meeting minutes from this past year and many past years. We've got all the older annual reports that were done every year. We have membership meeting minutes after every membership meeting. We've got the officers and board members. So we're going to go into the 2026 annual meeting. Oh, that's weird. There should be documents in there.
Yeah.
We were going to tell you that the website is 100% back, but every now and then it
Yeah,
glitches.
I'm double clicking and everything.
Yeah, try double clicking.
Yeah, I tried double clicking.
Okay. Maybe click one of the other folders and then go back to it?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's embarrassing.
Close.
Scroll down on the page,
Maybe
Oh.
hit expand all?
Yeah.
Or
Expand.
just expand?
He's not
Try
logged.
this one.
He's logged in.
No,
Oh,
So-
no, he's
oh.
not logged in. Oh, you're not logged in. Okay.
I'm not?
Go back up and log in. Yeah, somehow we got logged out.
Okay, let me get this.
There's our problem.
Okay,
Now they'll probably
okay.
show up. Okay,
That's
so
what,
go
that
back.
can happen.
That,
See what happens when you accidentally log out? You're like, why can't I find anything? Check that you're logged in.
Yeah.
Now, when he clicks on the annual meeting minutes, boom!
Yay.
Okay, so now we're gonna click on, oops, sorry, not the annual meeting minutes, the one above it, the annual meeting. And the 2026 annual report, 25-26 annual report, second one there.
So Brenda, we just learned something. Do you really have to do the member login?
Yes.
Yes. And he's gonna hit download, but PDFs generally won't actually download to your computer. I think it varies from computer to computer, but what it will do is open up another browser window. And we had, the communications team has access to Canva software through the League of Women Voters Washington. So we can put together pretty graphics things that you see in the voter, that you see on the website, and that created things like the awesome She Did That graphic for our March program. So of course I had to reuse that. So page one just kind of has an overview of all the things that we did last year, including over 5,000 volunteer hours. And I get those hours both from all of the volunteer work that you sign in on the volunteering module, saying I'm going to volunteer for Pride this Saturday, for Peace and Justice Fair in September. All of those hours I automatically collect. Then you also see on the homepage that little calendar thing that says mark your volunteer hours. So you can go home today and say, I spent 2 hours at the member meeting for July, and put in 2 hours of member meeting volunteer hours. We also did some other things. We activated a couple of committees, we rented a storage unit, we used a team governing approach for the board of directors because we didn't have a president last year, and we made the voter public, so now it shows up easily on our website and the public can find it. Then when you go down to the second page, we've got empowering voters, because our mission is empowering voters, defending democracy, and we're focusing on that defending and advocacy today, but we also do empowering voters through our radio show, through all of the different multicultural resource fair, Juneteenth, Pride, Walk Fest, National Nights Out, Cyndi Lauper concert last year. We did lots of different things to empower voters. And if we go down to the next page, we've got our Defending Democracy, where we really started using our Action and Advocacy Committee last year. Kate Kastenson revived that, made it work a little better for us, and we're going to keep going forward, trying to get more of a team approach for our advocacy this year, see if we can get more people involved. We went to multiple rallies. We did the lobby week for the state of Washington. That was also part of advocacy. On the next page, all the different programming that we did. We did a program with all of the civics teachers, high school teachers. We did a program on what the charter can do for you before we voted on new charter members. We learned how to write a letter to the editor. We've done a couple of other trainings about that. We took over the Historical Museum to learn about She Did That. We did a You Can Run for Office event again, and we did a Speak Up School. We do monthly membership meetings, we do orientation meetings, we have our lovely orientation webpage for new members. Let's go down a page, because I know you can all find this again, because I walked you through how to find it. This, I had just some things you should know that different league members sent in to me about the Observer Corps, what election observers do, and at the bottom we've got all of the voter registration activities that we do, and then go down to our first purple page here. We had so much earned media last year in multiple places, in multiple newspapers. We went out and did a press conference with Senator Cantrell. Am I saying that right?
Well,
Cantwell, thank you, I knew I said it right. And then the next blue page, more things you should know about. We hosted the state convention last year. We have coffee with the league every month. Here's where I've got the press conference with Senator Cantwell. We had 26 stories in the local media, and we've told you where they were. Columbian had 17, Clark County Today had 5, Reflector had 2, and then the TV stations each had 1. And then I've got more of our shared or earned media with lots of pictures and headlines. And I think there's one more page after this, all of the ways we celebrated. We have our annual birthday party, we have our annual picnic. And that's it. Does anybody have questions about the website, about how to find things on the website? I've got like a couple more minutes that I can take questions, or I will just pass it off to the next person. Bill.
Well, it occurred to me when you mentioned letters to the editor, do you have a kind of a roster of people from the league that have had letters published in one of the local papers?
Well, that would be an exciting thing to work on. What I will show you is if you go back to our regular website and go up to the resources page, click on resources in the menu, and you'll see in the middle column there underneath Democracy Power Up, if you're interested in the actual training, it's right there. Generally, if someone alerts me to a league member posting an op-ed, I can put it on our news page, but we have not been collecting names and topics, so that would be an interesting idea to take on.
Brenda, would you open up that letter to the editor so people can see what they'd be looking at?
Maybe the handout?
The training? Yeah. Oh, how about the handout?
And I saw another hand-up question.
Can you track public traffic to the site? Specifically, I'm interested in the blog by the observer.
I don't
Can you
know that I
repeat?
can get it all the way down to looking at how many people click on blogs, but I can see how many visitors to the website we've had, and it always spikes during election season.
Brenda, can you repeat the question for,
Oh, sorry, she was asking how well can I see traffic to the website. And I was saying I can see traffic to the website in general, and I can also, if I say make a link trackable, I can look at how those specific links are tracked, but I can't see like how many people, actually what I can do is I can see how many people have clicked on a specific blog. I can go back and see like when the Clark County Council came up, there were 200 people read that blog. So I can do that.
Would you please click on volunteering
She's asking us to click on volunteering.
and pull down to Peace and Justice Fair?
And look at Peace and Justice Fair down in September.
Yes, we are soliciting volunteers. Mandy Weaver is going to be the lead for the tabling
Click on
event.
the 3 little dots.
Bill Whipple has already signed up.
You can see on this page 2 things or 3 things are full. There are 3 slots that you could still sign up for. So when you click on the green volunteer button, that takes you to where you actually volunteer. If you click on the 3 little dots next to that volunteer button, you can read about what you'd be volunteering to do and the time commitment.
We don't just got a peace and justice fair that we need volunteers for. So it was great to scroll down to September, but August and July are upon us. I want to tell you something interesting. Look at Saturday in the Park at Pride, the most fun event we've got of all, there are 3 spots left. National Night Out, which is just absolutely adorable, right, working with kids and families and stuff. We've got 3 spots left. So, folks, we need volunteers for these fun things, these tabling things that we're going to be doing this summer. So if you could put your eyes on that. All right, Brenda, are there more questions for Brenda? All right, could you go back to that letter to the editor?
Let's see, can I?
Ann Murphy is the person that I am about to announce. And one of the things that we'd like to say is one of the most powerful things that you can possibly do is to write a letter to the editor. And we're going to show you all the many resources that we have. And in addition to that, Kate Hobby from our own league has created this handout, and there is a whole video workshop that you could watch. And I learned so much about writing letters from this, and so I just want to mention, wow, we've got the resources right there. And we have resources in this league like you've never seen before. And one of them is Ann Murphy. Now, Ann is humble, wise, and funny, but I also want to tell you she is powerful and special. So we had something very exciting happen when Ann came to Clark County, because formerly Ann was the president of the Spokane League, and Ann was the president of the state. When were you president of the state?
15 to 19.
Yeah, oh wow, so does she know things? So here is Ann Murphy to tell us about resisting threats to democracy.
Wow, what an introduction, Tracy, thank you. And the exciting thing is you keep learning new things all the time. And so what Tracy has referred to was your letter to the editor, and usually you've got all that information on writing the letter, but you're wondering, what do I say? And which is really important because you want to speak from facts and your heart. Both things are very important. So, John, would you go back to the actual newsletter that we wanted that came from the email? Resisting threats to democracy. I guess what I should find out, how many of you see this newsletter? It comes out, now it's coming out every couple of weeks.
How many of you?
Where did it go?
You do get it as a member of the league, and you are a member of Clark County. You are a member of the state league as well, and the national league. You are in all 3 organizations. And
I've lost it.
you lost? Okay. It happens. But what I want you to know, sometimes you may miss this one because the sender of this newsletter is Karen Crowley. Okay? And then it says resisting threats to democracy. We can get to the actual newsletter. I wanted you to just be aware of how it shows up in your email, because it's easy to skip over.
Sorry.
And if your email sorts things by files, it probably is not in your primary list of emails. So we can get to it through here in just a minute, John. So this is the homepage for the League of Women Voters, lwvwa.org. And there's a lot on this homepage that's all about advocacy right now. And we're going to go to the advocacy button. No, I'm doing this backwards. It won't go with my notes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know.
So let's scroll down on this homepage. And we should find there, resisting threats to democracy. You can also find there is a page on the website, so click on that where it says resisting threats to democracy. Just go up and click on that. That should give you. This is now the page on the website. And if you scroll down, there's lots of resources here that are general in information. And just keep going. We should find a button to get to the actual newsletter, because there was a newsletter that came out Thursday. How many of you saw that? And, okay.
Didn't sign on.
Continue to the members only page. Maybe it's on the members only page. Go to that. Yeah,
How do we do members only, Ann?
you click on it.
Okay.
And if you're doing it, and every time you do it, a little notice will come up and it will say, cross my heart, you check the box, and it says, I am a member of the League of Women Voters. It's an honor system, which means you don't have to remember a password or anything. So click on Newsletter Archive, right in the middle there. And then you should scroll down till you find, well, where is it?
Hey, Ann, what are all four of these tabs anyway?
Okay, these are the four different newsletters, four different publications to be aware of from the State League, where you can find tons of information. Don't click on this yet, John. We've got Resisting the Threats to Democracy. Then the Evergreen Voter, which now comes out quarterly. And the target audience there is not only members, but the larger public to talk about what League is doing. Then there is another one that comes out, and it's not here, in League. And then the Legislative Action newsletter comes out during the legislative season, and I'm going to cycle back to that in a minute. All right, so, and then members-only publications, that's the one that's called In League, and that comes out monthly and gives you all kinds of information on things about running your league, being a league member, that kind of thing. But if we go back to the reviewing threats, go down to the archive and click on that. And it should have the July 9th, 2026 newsletter. So open that up, please, John. Well, that doesn't look like the same one I have. In this issue, when you have your actual email, there's a whole lot longer list of, hold on, don't keep moving yet.
Okay, sorry.
That's really hard. There is more in this newsletter than what's listed there. But first of all, a wonderful article from our redistricting issue chair, Allison McCaffrey, who's also the democracy chair, about mail-in ballots are safe. And you can, we just scroll through and you can see there's all kind, now we can scroll, John, and take a look at the information you can get here. Editorial that was in Susan Martin, you heard Tracy talk about the concurrence adoption on the immigrant rights here in Washington. That's now a national position for the league. And then Karen Crowley. Many of you probably met her last spring when she was here. And Allison is the one in the middle, and they were interviewing Jeff Renner. So this is full of informational articles, and keep going, and there are things to do to get the information that you want to include in a letter or in a testimony. The important thing to remember is you do not speak for the league, but you can agree with what the League of Women Voters is doing in anything you say and do. Okay, and lots of other actions here. It's full of way more than you can do. So pick one, okay? You don't have to do everything because it drives us nuts. All right. I think the important thing, this Resisting Threats to Democracy has been a deal since after the last national election. We got that started in January last year to bring that kind of information to our members. And now, one of the cool things, the program that the National League adopted this year is to defend democracy under siege. And our Resisting Threats beautifully leads into that. let's see. Okay, I think that is a whole series of actions that are really tied to what's going on specifically right now. And it's not just national, we can see it in our state and local places and adapt to that. So, John, let's go back to the advocacy page. Just go ahead and in that top bar right under the masthead, just hit advocacy. All right, one of the things I want you to notice, and then there's a whole menu to choose from. The very first one is a decline to sign 500. We don't have to keep saying it anymore, because they did not get their signatures. They did not, they, as you recall, 500 is the initiative that was our own little Save Act here in Washington State. But they did not even turn in signatures. There was nothing turned in by that group. The second button there, go ahead and click on that one. Because this is the two initiatives that are part of the No Hate campaign. And we will talk more about these at another time, but the League is very much opposed to these initiatives. You can read the information here, why we're opposed to both of these. And there is a No Hate campaign here in the state of Washington. And I just got reacquainted with Shyla Clark over here from Battleground, who's a new member of our League and very much involved in the No Hate campaign. So you can go through all those as to why we're opposing that. There is yet another initiative to deal with, and that's Initiative 645. They turned in over 500,000 signatures, and this is the one to repeal the millionaire's income tax. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on that. We are working on getting those items up and know that they'll be there soon. So.
Could you pull the parents' rights?
Which one's that?
It's parents' rights is the, I always forget which one's which. No, just get off of there. On the purple one, click on something there. Does it take you any deeper? Go down to resources. And if you go down to resources, you can see there's an issue paper, there's a flyer. Click on issue paper, the first bullet. Oh, it takes time to load this one. And this is even more in depth than what you just saw on that home page for those initiatives. And I don't think we have time to discuss the merits of these, but be sure that you take these and read them. Tracy, you've got these sheets at the tables, right? So they're there if you're tabling to be able to talk about reasons to oppose these initiatives. Okay. Anything else related to initiatives? And then we'll take a look at some other things. Okay. Go back to that advocacy button. And then click on the legislative newsletter. This is the other newsletter that comes out weekly during the legislative session. And that's a big piece of advocacy for our League in lobbying in the legislative session to get bills passed. As we reference back to that initiative that we're against on the millionaire's tax, we very much supported the original bill in the legislature, mostly to get some more fair, equitable tax revenue. So you can click on any one, go ahead and click on the last one. It was kind of a wrap-up newsletter that tells you what all we did in the last year, so you can go back and track and see what happened in the legislature. And there's nothing, go back one. I just want to show you one thing, because this is a real, click on any one of those, like February 22nd, or, yeah. And then when you get one of these, this is what comes out. Priority actions. and keep scrolling down, stop right there. You see, here's a way you can act. How many of you during the legislative session use that sign in pro button to click on? It's a really easy thing to do. Our issue chairs figure out the exact link you go to. You don't even have to search. So where you can indicate pro or con on a particular bill that's being heard in committee, or sometimes there'll be direction to write directly to your legislator on something. But we try to make it as easy as possible. But I would also appreciate if any of you have comments. We won't take time to do that probably right now, but see me and let me know, how could this be even easier, okay? So that we have about 3,000 people that receive this, and not near enough, close to that number, that respond to the actions. Okay, I think that's all
We
we
have
have.
time, Ann, we have time.
Oh, okay. How much time are you going to more? You're going to
You
give?
can have 10 minutes.
Okay, all right. So, and we support, let's go back to the advocacy button, because not only is League defending democracy, or defending democracy under siege here, we have other areas we're involved in. Okay, go there, then let's go down to current issues. And we have the issues that we cover in this state are not only the representative government issues, where we have people involved that include the actual election process, voting, redistricting reform, and this is the arena where we have our local news advocacy, because that is an impact on democracy. Okay, scroll on down, and we have a whole team that deals with environmental issues. And you can see we're dealing with agriculture, climate, energy, forests, growth management, transportation, and waste diversion. We will be adding a water issue chair this year, so expanding that arena. And then an even larger arena is the social and economic policy that covers many issues that are the ones, they're the folks that dealt with coming up with our position statements against the two initiatives for the No Hate campaign. So you have behavioral health, children's issues, criminal justice, early care and education, elder care, health care, housing and homelessness, keep going, immigrants, and revenue, which is our big one. And so those are the issues that are on our plate. And one of the things for you to be aware of, there's a whole book called Program in Action that lists the various more specific items on these topics. All right, let's go back to the advocacy menu, John, please. All right, go down to, whoop. Yeah. Love how, go down to league positions, click on that. So you may be wondering, okay, what are the exact positions League has in order to make these action statements? Scroll down, we have two different other documents that we work with at the state level. The first one is the Program in Action, which lists has positions that have come out of studies that have been done since that League's been working here over the last 100 or so years. And then the national document is Impact on Issues, and organized in much the same way. And between those two documents, we can generally find a way to take a position on something. So, and they're both, they're not short documents. How many have taken an opportunity to go into either one of those documents? Yeah, and there's just a whole lot of history in both documents as to what the organization's been doing. So it gives you that history, and it gives you a roadmap that can be used, and a reminder that here in our local league, we can use the positions that are in those two books as well as the ones that are on the Clark County list. Okay. All right, let's go back to the advocacy button, because another really important, there should be a coalitions part right there. And the State League is in coalition with a number of different organizations in the state, particularly in the environment arena and the social and economic policy arena. Scroll down, John. And one that's really important right now. Okay, we've got other partnerships and colleagues that we do work with. So we can go back up, and I don't see the one I thought we were. Go back up some more. Interesting, because I know we are a member of the Voting Justice Coalition, which is what gets us working with others that are working in the same arena we are. And coalitions are just ever so much more impactful than a single organization. And so, anyone have questions on the coalitions that League is part of? And we do have a whole process for adopting what the coalitions are, and they're reviewed every biennium. And then the last one I want us to look at, John, is the one that is on Meet the Team. The team of coalitions, or coalition, Meet the Advocacy Team.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Meet
the Advocacy Team. Join the team is also an option. We can open up to other. Some of you may have known Cynthia Stewart, who was a force in our action team over the last several years, and it's tough moving on without her. So let's keep going down, and you can see who we have. You have our own Deanne Finken, who is the leader on our local news, and quite a team there. And then down, Janet Hedgepath is also on this team with Child and Children's Services. And then we have Kate Lunsford on Forest, who already, I think Allison's probably been here to this league to talk to you about redistricting, but Irene's now that right-hand person in our local league. And then I deal with the waste diversion. I don't know who else is. We have criminal justice, Karen Tweet with education, Lydia Zapita, who was the main force in our immigrant study that we did. And that's probably it. We got to Z. So, and then we have a whole list of advocates. Maybe you say, I don't want to do all that other work, but maybe you want to just help and follow a bill. I mean, you can volunteer to do that. So, I think that's a pretty quick overview of resources and what's available to do advocacy that's coming from the state level. Does anyone have any questions? Tracy.
So this lobby stuff, could you just tell us a little bit about what we do at Lobby Week in January?
Well, it starts way before January, okay? Many of you are familiar with what we called an action workshop that happened in the fall, where we're looking at the issues, starting to look at the bills, getting some knowledge on those state level bills. And that gives you the background of information to, be able to say something intelligent about global warming, that kind of, or explaining some of the things that relate to the social issues that we're talking about. So then, what we need, if you look at it as an arc, the action workshop is the beginning that then deals with, it's like doing your homework. It's going to class ahead of time and getting the information. And then we arc through December, where that's getting your data lined up as to who your legislators are, how to contact them, that kind of thing, building some teams in each of the districts. And we have 4 districts here in Clark County that we need to make sure we are ready to talk to those legislators. Now, then when session is in session, that's an odd way to say that, isn't it? We used to do a lobby day. How many of you have been to a lobby day on the Olympia campus? I mean, those were great fun. We did them, in person, all that pre-COVID era, where we meet, you have speakers that give you info on the bills, and then we're sent out to meet with the legislators in their offices. Because we had that earlier data, we made appointments so that you wound up visiting your legislator. Well, we all know the adaptations we had to make because of COVID, and so we went to a virtual lobby week. And we would get bill information in virtual sessions, and then you had an assigned agenda of bills to talk to your legislator about, because these were the bills the league is supporting. And right now, lobby week can sometimes be 2 or 3 weeks, because sometimes it's difficult to get an actual appointment. But actually, it's pretty quick and easy to do those Zoom meetings with your legislators now. It's not as much fun as being on campus. And, every year, the lobby team has a discussion. Should we do virtual? Should we do in person? And it's, it's always a toss-up. We get more involvement when we do the virtual things, but the in-person situation has a different impact. So, does that answer what you wanted to know? So be ready to know. We're going to want you to sign up with a team to meet with your legislators. This one will probably be in February, because we're back to a long session this year. And so we want to do it before the first cutoff of legislation getting out of a committee, so that have some impact there. So that would be what would be happening there. And I'm looking around to see, I had some great team leaders. Judy Zeider coordinated the 20th district. Susan Fleming did the 17th, and Marlene Niemeyer did the 49th. So, and I did the 18th. So if you're one of those districts and would like to be our lead chair, let us know so we can get going and not feel like we're caught flat-footed. Yeah.
I'm wondering if the state has a committee or any involvement in AI policy.
We're just starting to look at that. And actually, in the local news, they pulled on a piece of that. And Sally, you may have some info. Do you have any info on that? I know that Deanne has done some initial looking at it. So if you want to ask questions and need more specific information, contact Deanne Finken.
Can you repeat that topic?
Oh, the topic was AI. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Thank you, Melanie. So we are beginning to look at that, as we're beginning to look at data centers. So that's another huge topic that Marty Gibbons, who is our energy issue chair, is leading that. And there is an affinity group to talk about data groups, or data centers, if you're interested in that topic. Now you're going to cut me off, right? Okay. Well, please tap into advocacy. And one of the things to think, okay, if I've got 90 minutes, I can do this. If I have all day, I can do this. If I have several months, I can do this. So there are different levels of being an advocate. And so come join the action.
Because we need and that's what richness is we have, can you just imagine? We have so many leaders who are statewide leaders, and they are members of our own group. So we have a lot of good feedback and information going. So here's the thing I want to tell you. A lot of people were like, oh, I wish I could lobby, but they didn't sign up. So here's one of those things. Remember that this is something that you could potentially do, and we'll definitely make this available for you. Remember that you could sign up and then not show up. Remember, it's one of those deals where you got to get your name in there so that you get the option. And I will tell you, I went to Washington, D.C. and lobbied as a member of the League of Washington. And that was a very exciting feeling, realizing that I was part of this group. And so Anne really has brought that to us, and we are so progressive in our state, and we are so proud. So I want to talk to you about just a little bit what we're going to be doing. We're doing some advocacy things, and for anybody who has an agenda, we've got a couple. The thing that is table talk, we are going to do the table talk activity. We are not going to do the icebreaker activity. And what the table talk activity is, in just a moment, I'm going to ask, for example, Linda, maybe you join, both of you join this middle table or front tables. We'll get some things together. Because this is a time that we just want to talk with very interesting, smart people about what's going on. And as we think about advocacy, what are some things that we need to understand? We have a grant to do an amazing pilot project called the Skeptics Picnic. And it is a partner project that we are going to do with LULAC. And it is going to be held at a location of LULAC's choosing. And I'm not giving a lot of public information about this because there is a need for privacy because LULAC people are going to be talking about issues. We received this grant, and by the way, we're proud, like we're one of the only people. I got this grant, you guys. It's just amazing that I got it. I just have to tell you, the board knows how blown away I am that I got it, but we got it. And the money has been deposited. So they showed us the money. It is called relational organizing. So when you are at your table, I want you to talk about a different kind of way about doing advocacy. And this is something that you could also do in all of your own circles. We at the League, and I want to use me as an example, can barrel into a group and I can say, wow, have I got information for you? But what about if I step back and said, hi, I'm Tracy. And then I met them and we talked, and then I said, so hey, what kind of issues are important to you? And then we would talk. And then at the very end, I would say something like, wow, have I got resources? If you're interested, let's talk. Relational organizing is going to be the new way that you are going to hear about organizing for the next year. You've heard it first. It's really a word. It's called relational organizing. And the idea is that we are going to prop up people. We're not even going to poach them. I like to poach from people and bring them into the league. But we are going to prop up organizations because we have an enormous amount of information, right? You saw that. We know how to do things. People really want our help from a lot of organizations, but we need to change the tune of how we do it. So I'd like everybody to get on a table with other people, and it's a very broad topic. And the topic is, how could you do relational organizing with groups that you might know? So let's have these two tables get together. Let's have these two tables get together. And let's have you go to one of these, some of these back here. So in other words, I don't care how you do it. Fill up the table so that people can talk.
I guess we're a table. So I'm at the meeting, but that doesn't mean I'm an insider on this subject. I just heard it when you did. Same thing, same time you guys did.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
so think about how could you do relational organizing? How could you help organize additional, what did I say? I said, how can you organize additional organizing? I'm sure that's not exactly how she asked the question.
Mhm.
It's how can we do it with people we know, with groups that we know?
Yeah.
Um, and I guess I'll throw out there for myself, I, I have some political party groups I know. I have some informal groups that and league, of course, but also, you can you can meet other groups easily by just talking to people and volunteering with them. So yeah, I guess that's the idea is to instead of saying what do you have to help me, it's just like, well, what do I have that can help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that for me, I'm really kind of blown away with the resources that the league has, just going over these websites and that sort of thing. But I struggle with the groups that I'm involved with, not too many groups for, their, church groups are one thing. And they don't talk about the issues that are very concerning to me right now. And I struggle to bridge that gap, how to bridge that gap. So I guess I'm sort of looking for tools that I can use that will help me to, to engage and to try to help get people to get more involved, to vote, to think, to discern better, but without being confrontational or without being, just sort of at a loss for how to, how to get people to become more involved. Sometimes it doesn't go anywhere. It's just sort of arguing or giving opposing opinions. So, I'm not sure. I guess a little bit of courage would help.
Yeah, that's
That,
all. I agree.
this is Jane. That's a good comment, Sheila. But I think part of it that was of showing the information, because some of that's available to non-members as well to get them
Yes.
educated. But I mean, I think there are some groups, but that have a connection, but because, as Tracy pointed out, we're nonpartisan, so it'd be hard to like connect with the, like you mentioned, John. Not that, like people are involved in politics, um, and that just doesn't seem like a good match because that would, I think that would compromise the league.
There are issue groups too, though, that,
Yeah,
well, LULAC is one obvious one.
right. That's a good one, and I was I was interested hearing that people are there from the AAUW because that seems like they're interested in educating people about community interests and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tracy, I got from what Tracy said is that the idea is to listen first. It's like, you know, seriously listen to what people are saying and what their issues are, and even ask them, well, what issues are most important,
Mm-hmm.
and then go from there. Because as Ann just showed us, there's a wealth of information available, and resources and people, and but yeah, it can't be. I guess it can't be with a partisan type organization. We have to be
But
real careful with that part.
except that as an individual, maybe relational organizing, if you're doing it from uh, the standpoint, as a member of the League of Women Voters, but as a partisan person, I'm also a political person. I have candidates that I want to try to support, but I see where they may have weaknesses, and I want to encourage them to, to be more ethical, or to stand up for gun sense legislation, things like that. But I also want to, I want to make a difference. I want my candidate sometime, if I have one that I care about, I want them to get votes. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's not about, I don't know, about relational organizing can be used in a lot of different ways, it seems like. If, um, wherever you connect with people, not necessarily being just about league concerns and advocacy, but seems like it could be used in a lot of different ways. Um,
Hmm.
just by, I guess, by listening to people. I mean, I do have a viewpoint about candidates, or will have as candidates come about in the next election cycle. And I've always been, somewhat partisan in my thinking, but it just doesn't seem to, when you just approach, um, I guess, issues based on left or right or red or blue, it just really is not very effective or useful. It's the issues themselves do need to be, uh, we need to be educated on the issues themselves. So it's kind of like getting smarter about really understanding what you believe, or what positions you take based on some sort of real truth and facts and information, and thoughtful, debate. So
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hope as being a part of the league, it's okay to also, work for, political parties or political campaigns that you feel strongly about. You just
Oh,
don't do
that
it as a league member,
Yeah, of course it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And actually, th- there's only restrictions for people who are officers of the league. I mean, you can, and obviously you're doing it on your own accord, not
Mhm. Right, right.
and they so like people who are president of the league cannot be deeply involved and endorse
Right, right.
candidates, things like that.
But I think the relational aspect is what I need to learn more about being listening. I read a whole book about it actually. Um, and I find that it's mainly about active listening. And I it's something I need to practice.
I wonder if we need a a better definition of relational organizing, or some kind of training that might be available, and that we can learn what it is, and
Yeah,
go from there. But I got just out of Tracy's introduction, I got active listening is definitely going to
yeah.
be a big
Yeah.
part of it. That I'm sure I need to work on that.
Which kind of rules out social media kind of engagement, doesn't it? Because social media, they, a lot of times people push that, oh, post this, post it to all your contacts, and and I don't do that. I don't post stuff, but that's just about spreading your viewpoint, but it doesn't, there's nothing relational about it, it seems.
Cheryl Lee, you came off mute, so did you want to add something?
I was just thinking, my husband went today to a meetup group for the second time. Don't ask me what the theme is because I don't remember. But there is another one he is planning to go to that is about religious abuse, which of course is not the place you're going to start talking about the kind of things we want to talk about. I would not think. But it occurs to me that there are meetup groups about just all kinds of things. And even if all we wanted to do was practice our listening skills, I'm really good at talking, but the listening skills, even though I've had years of training on it, I still have to really make a conscious,
No, if you want.
a conscious effort. And I would like to know more about, okay, tell me what
I wasn't able to
kind
hook up
of
the cable,
group
so I've got my
this
HDMI cable,
um,
one, I can just hook into
this
HDMI.
relational organizing might be good for us to uh, try
If
to
not,
It's merged.
Lynn is
post
prepared to
some
just
of
talk.
our, or
Okay.
talk about some of our thoughts. And I know when I've had somebody show an interest in something, I'll take a business card and on the back, I'll say, well, here's a
I don't
link.
think we have another
Want to
cable.
check
We
it
just hook
out?
up to a different setup.
And to
Different
me, that's an easy way.
Unless you
They
want
can
to
always get a hold of me if they want, because now they've got my
Can you
email
just
and
go
phone
into our
number.
webpage?
But
And then you go
also,
from there?
if we wanted
Well,
to
my presentation
pose,
is,
oh, well, the
I mean,
league
it's on the
has
Google Drive, so we can
information
access my
about
Google Drive from here.
XYZ, and here's a link.
So,
Not that all the myriad links we
you've
have are
got
going to be right at the top of our head, but if it is something that we've taken a particular interest in, or even gone out of our way to find a group where it'd be appropriate.
Group, let's begin
It's
to
always
wind
be
this
nice to have
all up.
somebody where they can look up more. I can't remember a website address. You'll have to give it to me in writing.
I got the code here. If you
Yeah.
go to CDM.
I was on my, yeah,
I do have a question that has to do with communicating, but it's not necessarily league related. I get so many emails that say, tell Congress now to do this or don't do that. I am really curious because, of course, the next page you get is please send money.
Just send money.
Organization. And it's not the league. I'm not talking about the league, but I wonder if anybody has a sense of whether or not when you click on this thing that says tell Congress to do XYZ,
No.
if you're really doing anything or just getting
All
yourself
right,
a link to
groups,
get
let's
money.
go ahead and finish it up.
Yeah,
It's a good
I don't know
question.
about that. I just figure that's a way they know you're interested in the issue, and so they, contact you again. But maybe they don't even send on. And of course, you can always go just do it yourself. Go to the congressional or the senators.
We have Irene's
They all have
presentation that has to come up.
just take that information and do it separately from that email.
CDM.
I do get occasional ones that actually give me a link to write to Marie and
All right, online Zoom, if you could
that I
be
think is
finishing
just
up your
looks like
Yeah.
presentation.
for us to get
Can
back.
they not hear us because they're in the, you want to get them out of their group, John? John
It
all of
looks
a
like
sudden
Tracy's
has
talking
many
again.
things to do right now
Okay, sorry guys. I
and,
didn't get to listen
since
to
so many
part of that
things
because
are
we got
going
a
on right
technical
now at one moment,
issue
but
coming
John is
up.
doing his very best. Sally, I'm coming for you.
So
So,
wow, when we
John
go to
is
summarize,
organizing our
you guys can help
media. Sally Hale, can you give your presentation from your seat? There we go.
This is great. I don't even have to stand up. Communications from one other thing is this sort of communication adjacent that they're dealing with. As you know, we're all having in-person candidates. But for the congressional race, there were 9 candidates and too many to have for a traditional.
You might have to get
Yeah, I think I do.
Oh, that's why it's not letting me do that. There you go. Okay, what's your name?
JCLATT.
Let's see if this is better. So what we've done is we've done video interviews with 8 of the 9 candidates. And Austin Braswell was the one candidate who didn't respond to any of our outreach efforts. But we have the other 8. We've sent these 15-minute videos to CBTV. They're going to put them together into a show, and they're going to air it, and they're going to put it on their website. And we will obviously link to it on our website as well. Otherwise, in the communications front, we have been continuing to be all over the Columbian, thanks largely to our leader, Tracy, who had an op-ed on the charter review process. She also wrote 2 women's history stories for the special section that they just put out. And Janet Hedgepath had a lovely letter to the editor on the importance of voting. This is all in the past month or so. Also on social media, the Washington State University class that Mary Austin Seymour has been working with created 3 animations for us. And we have put them up on some of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And they're great little animations about why you should vote. And they're aimed at that demographic. And they're lovely. If you have an account and you haven't seen them, you should go look at them. And I think that's about it.
That's my slide presentation.
Sally,
And
we
I'll-
sure
I'll-
have a
I'll bring that
fabulous
and pop that
social
and come
media
back.
team, but do we need any more people on
I'll
this?
start here.
Oh,
and then
yes.
later on,
We do.
I'll pop out.
Justine
and
Reimers
then
is our
pop
social
back
media
in.
manager.
So this
But
is the
it's a
second one?
big job, and she could
So
really
I'll
use
be
some help. So if
in
anyone
here.
is interested, let her know, let me know. We'd love to have you help
So
out.
this guy's
All
done.
right, good.
So in fact, somebody could be kind of a yeoman learning, and Justine would be the brilliant person kind of with the ideas, and you could be, so what if you were somebody who wished that you could learn more about social media? Wow, if you took this volunteer job with us, you'd be really working with people who really knew how to do it, wouldn't you? Wow, 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 wow. So that is the kind of advocacy that people might just be thinking. So, John, are we ready for Irene?
For Irene?
So we've got Lynn and we've got Irene.
Yeah, I am. Which one do you want? Irene.
Irene.
Yes, okay.
So when we were looking at this advocacy and looking at these different kind of options of one area is redistricting. And Irene and I both, in 2020, when we were looking for something to do at home, attended one of the most brilliant things I ever have educationally wise called Speak Up School. And we learned about redistricting, but redistricting doesn't just happen every 10 years, does it, Irene? All right, can you pull up Irene's one on the PDF?
Mm-hmm.
But Irene will just start talking.
Morning, everyone.
Oh, there it is.
Hand this out.
No, just so you know, people can come again if they want. So my name's Irene Finley. Some of you may recognize me from the chair of the local redistricting reform committee. I have a new hairdresser. I'm part of the state redistricting reform task force as well. Allison McCaffrey is the lead of that group, and Ann Murphy is on the executive committee of the redistricting reform task force at the state. Next slide, John. So, what is redistricting? For those of you who haven't been to one of these before, it's the cornerstone of the concept of one person, one vote in a representative form of government. Per the Constitution, every 5 years, district boundaries are changed to reflect the changes in the population. Every district approximately has an equal population. Everyone's vote carries the same weight. That is how we get to one person, one vote. Next slide, John. Backup one. Yeah. Why it's important. Your voting power starts here. Good maps mean you have a better shot at electing who you want. Your representatives works on the issues that you care about. Next slide, John. So, what's broken about the system in Washington State? The redistricting task force gave the commission a failing grade from the 2021 process. They violated the Public Meetings Act. They made their decisions in private. The decisions were definitely partisan, as we should expect based on the way the commission is structured. Next slide, please. So what we're saying is the redistricting commission process is not working. The way it has structured since 1983 is that the leadership in both houses of the legislature each of them appoint 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. They have a non-voting, non-partisan chair. So that means 3 out of 4 people have to make a decision on a mass. All this results in commissioners working for their parties, not the people. Next slide, please. So, over the past 6 years, the Redistricting Reform Task Force has been researching, talking, meeting, sharing information about what is wrong and what key areas need to be addressed in redistricting legislation. The idea is to put people first, not party. Hire staff early to ensure a smooth process. Define and prioritize mapping criteria. Negotiate in public. Have clear outreach and input processes and accessibility to everyone. Next slide, please. This is the only one of these slides that Allison did not do. Guess who did this? It's just all wonky. I'll look at it next time. So, based on these needed reforms, the task force surveyed democracy advocacy organizations across the state to learn what details in the legislation they would support. I have a copy of the full report here. Many copies, help yourself. And I also have a 1-page sheet summary of the same. So before you leave today, if you're interested, go ahead and pick up one or the other. The executive committee of the task force is working on legislative language right now and lining up legislators willing to support the bill in this next legislative session. Next slide, John. What we need from our local leagues is to get behind the legislation, expand the commission, include independent voices, require more transparency, and more importantly, accountability to the people of Washington, not the parties they serve. The time is now to become familiar with the talking points. Make appointments with your legislators or candidates. Ask state legislative candidates questions about redistricting reform. Next slide, John. The Clark County Redistricting Reform Committee can host some training sessions where we could provide talking points, practice presentations to legislators and candidates for office. So please contact me if you're interested. My contact information is there on the screen, and Anne kindly sent me a PDF of the survey, so I also have this in PDF form for anybody online up here who'd rather have it by that means. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm on my Zoom call. I just want to mention, is somebody on the Zoom call who is going to speak in a little bit? Heidi, are you on the call or Heidi's representative?
Hi, this is Oscar for WTA. I think
You
here for
are,
Heidi.
okay. You are not up now. You are up next, okay? But
Okay,
up
thank you.
now, because we're just full of actionable things to do for advocacy. A number one of our members, so many of our members, like you, work in other organizations as well. And many of those goals are very close. So we have a representative, Lynn Posen,
So if you go into
Fairfield,
slide,
Washington.
slide, right here. And
Then one of the things you'll want
I'm
to
wrong.
remember is don't get too close to the speaker. But it's kind of nice if you stand here.
Okay.
You're on.
All right.
Where's the slideshow?
Thank you. How's this? Right here. All right. I talk with my hands, so.
We're getting there.
As I was listening to the previous speaker, I realized I really am in the right place right now. I'm Lynn Croxing. I'm here today as a volunteer from the Fairhope, Washington, Clark County. And I'm here today to talk because this is about advocacy and coalition building. And these are the actions that we take toward shared goals, formally and collectively. And, okay, I'll let him do his thing. So, the League of Women Voters has a stated goal of empowering voters and defending democracy. Fairhope, Washington also seeks to empower voters and defend democracy. We believe that electoral systems should respect the principle of representation for all. The organization researches and advances voting reforms to make democracy more functional and representative. Okay?
Yeah, I'm just
yeah,
I guess we'll do it this way.
Go back to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Technology is the coolest thing to ever get in your hair, right?
Can he make that, you can go into show mode so we can see the whole slide?
Yeah, where is that? That's what I was looking for.
Slideshow.
Do you see it
Yeah,
anybody?
you scrolled off the menu.
We're great, just like that. We're
Yeah,
great, just
okay.
like that.
And then, well, going with the flow there, Fairhope, Washington, and our coalitions, like the League of Women Voters, which I'm also a member of, and our other coalitions are striving for a common cause of empowering voters, of defending democracy, and raising the voices of all voters and all citizens. Our laws shape our democracy. It guides the work of government. Laws are decided by elected representatives. The people who get representation are decided by who can vote and how those votes are allocated. If we are to change the laws, we must change who the representatives represent by changing how our electoral system decides the winners, decides which voices are raised in the discourse of democracy. We are in a peculiar time. Need I list the extraordinary stress being placed upon the very pillars of American society? Every day, every hour. I know we are all striving to repel the onslaught on our electoral systems. When we are facing the immediacy of having to defend our very ability to vote, electoral reform may seem like a luxury. It isn't. It's critical to making changes that will lead us to a more representative democracy. I want to briefly review some highlights of proportional and ranked choice voting that Fairhope, Washington is working toward, to introduce the concept of a project, All Voices Rising, and leave you with some small actions to work into your everyday activities. This is where.
Lynn, can you speak a little closer to the mic?
Okay.
Thanks.
Should I start over?
No. Oh, where do you want to be?
Okay, so next slide there. So we do ranked choice voting in our day-to-day actions on a regular basis. We just don't think of it as such. Politically, ranked choice voting is the ability to vote for your most preferred candidate and then have backup votes and order those backup votes in your order of preference. Yes. So there are some tremendous benefits, and as the spread of ranked choice voting and proportional voting continues, we are seeing that it does result in more positive campaigns, empowered voters, and improves representation. Okay. So that improved voter representation means voters get more choice, more voice. The first-time and third-party candidates can get on a ballot and they can actually run and win in elections. So the message here, you change the rules, you change who runs. You change who runs, you change the voices. Yes. Our neighbors to the south have done an excellent job of showing just what happens. So Portland's been around a while. I can't remember when they incorporated, but their city council was always populated by mostly wealthy, always white men, up until 2008, Then finally, in 2009, a woman made it on, a white woman. And then finally we get into 2019 when a woman of color was included. Now, if you know Portland, you know it's long been much more than just white men over there. So finally we get to 2025 where they expanded their representation by having multi-member districts. They also included the choices for ranked choice voting. There's more details, but I just want you to see the change in the demographics. And it looks a lot like Portland with all of the variabilities. Next. So I'm also here today to pitch a project from one of our members at Faribault, Washington. So All Voices Rising is a nonpartisan graphic novel project. So the author, Samuel Gompers, aka Ben Goff, is trying to get the endorsement of the League of Women Voters. He's already received the endorsement from Faribault, Washington for its accuracy and truth in the storytelling. Okay, so
This is where I switched to the PDF.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just be scrolling through quickly. And what I want to emphasize here is the beautiful illustrations and the visualization of these principles that he's putting forth, or the history as it goes. So, next. So, he is telling the story of democracy, starting with the introduction of the primary system. And then the primary problem, what happened there, the upsets that were going on in politics in the 70s and up until the mid-90s. Next. The age of polarization, which it started with the first government shutdown in modern times, and you see where we are now. I don't have to explain that. Next. And then the proposition, because what's the point of having anything if you don't have an idea about what to do now? Next. So these are some of the presentations that will be included. Next. This is the leader of the project. I know him as Ben Goff. His pen name is Samuel Gompers. No relation. And next. So this is what he's doing. He's actively seeking endorsements from organizations like ours and other academics and people. So the way that Kickstarter campaigns work is you have to create the concept, enlist support, launch the campaign, get the money, do the job. So he's in the get support phase. Next. If you'll scroll up a bit for the barcode. So if you're interested in learning more about All Voices Rising, the project, you can copy down this QR code or ask me and I can give you the link. That's Kickstarter projects, All Voices Rising. And then
back to my last slide.
Back to your other Prez.
And of course, I want you to be involved with Faribault, Washington, because I know you've got spare time, but we have a newsletter. We have monthly meetings on the first Wednesday of the month. You can get in touch with us. Just send a Clark County chapter at Faribault, Washington. Talk to your representatives. Tell your friends and family. Use ranked choice voting yourself. rcb123.org. Create your own ballot. You'll find it amazingly fun. Thank you for hearing me.
Lynn, thank you so much. And the board will be looking at the project. I will bring the All Voices Rising to them, and that is something we'll consider. On our Zoom right now, John, we have a guest. And the guest is from Washington Conservation Action, and he is Oscar. Hi, Oscar.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'll pin him too.
Can you hear me okay?
On your table, you have a handout. So if you want to go ahead and grab one of these handouts. I'll make sure that there's enough for absolutely everyone. And Oscar, you've got the floor.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for hosting me today. Can you all hear me okay on audio? Thumbs up.
Turning you up. Okay. How's
Can you
that?
all hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Microphone.
Oh, good. Yeah.
How about now? Checking.
Yeah, it's good. Go ahead.
Good. All right. Hi. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for hosting me in WCA here today. Heidi is a member and she's on vacation, so she wanted to come here, and I told her, go on vacation. We got this, we're a team. So thank you for making time on Zoom for us. Yeah, in front of you have the Defend Our Vote 4 actions to take now flyer. As you're all pretty much aware in this room that the federal government is attacking our right to vote, especially in Washington, through the postal services changes of like postmarking after the processing rather than at entry of at the receiving of the ballots, and also the Supreme Court ruling that they're still pending, but we're just trying to get ready that in case something does happen. So in here you see the 4 actions to take now that I really want to emphasize. Is number 1 is vote early. We want to make sure that the day you get your ballots, please vote and send them right away, because there's 2 processing centers for the U.S. Postal Office. One is in Spokane and one is in Seattle. And unless those are received in Spokane or Seattle, no matter where you are, that's when they will be postmarked. So we want to make sure that people are voting early, so there's enough time to be received by the processing centers and be postmarked. The other one is use a ballot box. So we want to make sure that you, once you get your ballot, either you mail it super early, so you vote early, or you go to your county ballot boxes and please entering them there as well, or go to your county if you're able to, and then entering at the county registrar. So please use your ballot box. Here you also see QR codes to make sure that you have information at your own disposal at your own time to be able to make sure that you have the right information for your ballot box and also for your county. The third one is pledge to be a first week voter. So we're encouraging you all, but also as a collective, we're asking you to please share this information with your loved ones, family, relatives, neighbors, whoever, to please ask them to be a first week voter. We want to make sure that all the ballots are entered in a properly timed manner, and that people are aware of the threats that are happening at the state and federal level. So also here is assigned to assign the pledge of QR code, so that way, as an organization, as a collective, we're part of the Voting Justice Coalition. We're trying to keep track and remind people that to vote on the first week. So that's why there's the QR code there as well. And then finally is a text to track your ballot. Once you vote, don't assume it's been entered and then received. So this is where we're asking you to go to text vote to vote WA. The number is 868392 to ensure that you can track your ballot, making sure that it was received and that it will be processed correctly. Also, another thing that we are seeing in some of the counties is that, especially on more conservative counties, is that they're trying to disenfranchise people by nitpicking at the ballots of like, you didn't sign here correctly, the signature doesn't match, right? Certain things like that. So this is another reason why we were asking you to track your vote, to make sure that your vote gets processed correctly and it actually gets counted. And by texting to vote at Vote WA, you'll be able to track that and keep informed of your ballot processing updates. So our goal is to make sure that we get 2 million first week voters in Washington State. As most of you know, primaries usually tend to be a lower, what do you call it? Sorry, lower. I'm forgetting the term, but we tend to vote less, right, at the primary as a state. It's usually at about 20% ish, and so we want to increase our voter turnout. There you go, that's the term. Voter turnout is lower at the primary. So we're just asking you all to please, share this flyer at your table. You're on the community. We have a digital version that we shared with the league, So please reach out to Heidi or myself. Also, we have our political contact is Tony at conservationaction.org. If you need more information, more flyers, we're happy to share this with you all. Thank you so much. Is there any questions? Let me know.
Questions?
Oscar,
Oscar, thank you. As the nation's oldest grassroots voting organization, we are so pleased to hear that you have taken our line, the one that we decided and the one that we wrote 106 years ago, and we believe in absolutely everything that you're saying. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for having me.
For announcements. And I noticed that Edry is here. Yeah. So Edry, how about yeah? Well, how about if you go ahead and come up? It seems to work here. Edry Geiger is the head of our Election Observing Corps.
Okay, so this is a pretty interesting time. I guess put around interesting is something that's a nice way of saying or concerning. It's more concerning. And so what we do is we have trained observers that go through the training that the elections office has for, and then they indicate who they are going to be observing for. And I just talked to someone who said that she didn't put down league, but I get all 3 forms, so she just has to tell me that she also wants to observe for us. So that doesn't make any difference. So I just want to let you all know that if you know someone that went through and put in either an R or a D, I can, if I know that you want to do it for late as well, you just let me know on that one. What we do is really important. We have made a lot of suggestions that have been implemented for the safety and continuation of ease of observing, as well as things that help the process. These are things that you don't hear about. I'm not going to share those with you because I don't think that's important. But do let us know that we have been very much involved in the process as well. And those that observe can tell me they have to do a report. Unlike the R's and the D's, I require a report, and I have a form to have it. It's not that I just read it. I actually pick up anything. If a person has talked to one of the people that wear this black tag, which is the upper echelon, or they have not, I follow through if it's an issue that has not been settled, or if I think that something needs to be further along, I go into that area. So we have a voice all the time. I have watched what has been happening and going back and forth, as you probably have been listening to, that there have been fears of even this election was going to be a problem. It's not right now. They knew that they had the ballots. They were very secure in that, but if they made a major change, they might have had to change the format of the ballot itself. So there's a lot going on. Whether or not there will be a lot of observers from other groups coming around on election day, we don't know that. There's some talk about that as well. For your information, if you want to pass anything on to anyone else, if they want to vote and they haven't gone through the process to become a voter, they can do that up to 8 o'clock in the evening on election day. So they can go in there, and as long as they get in and there's lines, but they also indicate the last person to get into that line. So they can get up there, they haven't registered to be a voter, they can be a voter. Some of our very busy elections, we've had people be not turning in their ballot because they took a long time, and it went for several hours afterwards. There are secure places that they can do that in. So if you have any questions, just let me know. The process to become an observer, you have to go through a training that the elections has. They are now, it's varied over the years, but now it's 3 times a year, unless we have, as a group, more than 10 people that want to do it at a certain time. That's not one of those 3 times, and then you can do it. If not, you have to fit into the schedule of those times. We really appreciate everybody that does it. I missed the event last night because I was sending out the information to people that had already signed up for different positions, and I'm going to be sending out a that are already taken, gone, and I'm hoping that everybody will do it. And if you were listening to me and you're an observer, there will be somebody at everyone's position, and if nobody signs up for it, guess who's going to be doing it? Edry. So I would appreciate you looking it over, and if you're in town, to choose one or more of those to observe. And if you have any questions, always feel free to contact me. Thank you. Yes?
Is there a place online to sign
Yeah,
up for
how
the
can we
training?
find it, Edry?
You can contact me. First of all, you have to go through the process. So you can't do it without doing that. And then you let me know.
Where do you
what,
sign up?
what should we pull on the web, on the elections web?
The elections has already identified that you have gone through the process. So if you have done that, you already have that
Question is,
information.
Could John pull anything up on the web right now, Edry?
No, not on that one. It's not going to be there.
So when people leave, what are they gonna leave with to get them to do this?
If you do not, haven't gone through the process, you will contact the office of, the elections office and say that you're interested in becoming an observer and you'd like to sign up for the next training, and that will be in January. If you've already done it, and you've done it and listed that you are a D or an R, I already see that list. And if you let me know, like one person just did today, that she had not let me know, so of course it's not on my list. But if you let me know, it doesn't make any difference which party or league that you're part of, as long as you've gone through that training, yes.
So how are you fixed for the primary? Do you have?
I know I have a lot of spaces left, so right now, I probably have had, I'm trying to think, maybe 8 people. I sent it out just recently, so just 8 people have responded. We have over 40 observers, and then this weekend I'll be sending out the new list.
If a person was trained years ago, does it count?
If you're on the list, yes. So I would have to, you could send something to me and say, am I on the list? You know, and I could find out. I have the list for both parties and league. And it goes through, and they'll even tell us what year the person has gone through the process.
Edry, could we have your email or your phone number so people can leave here with a?
My name is very easy, and I'm a very easy person. So just email me, and it's myname@gmail.com. And I treat my name all lowercase, EDRIGEIGER @gmail.com. Do not make a space, do not capitalize, do not put a line in between it. I say I'm a very simple person. And even when I was on the school board, I gave that out as well, and everybody said, oh, you don't want to do that, that's so horrible. I'm like, I was elected, and they want to talk to me. I'll talk to them whenever they want to, so I'm that kind of a person. Yes.
So if you had 10 people who hadn't trained.
You go to you then tell Rich, who's the head of elections, and say, we have X amount, and then they can set up a time frame.
And would that be in adequate time for either the primary or the?
Not for this one, no, it would be for the major election. They're too busy to do that right now.
So it wouldn't happen for the major election?
It would be you could get it in for the November election, but you could not do it for this one. Believe me, they're very busy. Yes?
I did the training, listed League of Women Voters, but I haven't seen any emails.
Did you just do it?
I did the last training.
Okay, you cannot do it because Ellie Hutton is going to have a program for the 2 from us, that you go through it before I can go contact you. So has she contacted you yet?
No, I don't understand.
So you've already gone through the process, but she wants to go, and she's on board here, so she wants to go and actually talk to the newbies of what was required. As Rich will say, that from elections, this is the first step. What the Ds, the Rs, and League want their observers to have accomplished or done, that's their prerogative. That's the only first step, is to indicate that you've gone through that process, which you did. You were one of the 2 from our area. There were more from the other parties, but just the two for me.
Okay.
You
So-
will be contacted.
All right, but I shouldn't plan to be observing for this one.
Correct.
Okay. I'll take it off my calendar.
Yeah, no, I did not see your name on that yet, so, that has to go to the process. But I did see it, that you passed it, so I did see that from Rich, but I don't have that, yes.
Could you serve as a hub for collecting 10 people who want to go through the training?
No, try Ellie Hutton.
We'll have an
And
announcement
then
about this.
and if you do have 10, then let me know at that time. But I really need to know that people didn't just sign up, that they actually came. So really, I'm more interested, Rich will tell me when that group has done it, but it has to be 10 that actually appear. Unfortunately, people do sign up for things and don't come. So there's 10, or there's 8 of you that come, and therefore that will be not the one that you can have. Yeah, yes.
I think I'm the other one who just took a class here.
Oh, great, no, so,
They did say that they were gonna have another class in September, I'm almost positive they said this September.
yes, they should have one, that's right, they should have September.
It may be full. Oh, it might be full.
They only have X amount of space, and so you can check, but again, if there are 10 league members who want to do it, they can, and then you need to talk to Rich Cooper, who's the head, and then make that, say, like, we have this list, we'd like to do it, and do it. And you should, Ellie should be contacting both of you.
Okay.
Any other questions? And what I want to leave you with is, it's really important for you to tell the people that you know, whether they're family members, neighbors, or others, that it's critical that they vote. The voting is low usually in this time, this one. November will be better. The ones that have the most people coming out is every 4 years. And even, I have seen ballots where a person has just voted for one thing on the entire ballot. So it is very, very important for us to get out there. This election and the next following election is so critical. Thank you.
Well, and just another reminder that another thing that you can do is help us with tabling. Remember the volunteers, we don't have enough people to help with table. If anybody could show up and help Shyla and I this afternoon on Pride, we'd really like it. Well, we are talking about announcements, and then we're wrapping it up here.
Really quick, one thing that we did not touch are the Supreme Court races for this state. And the State League is doing, much like what Sally said for District 3, the recorded interviews. And those are being conducted right now, and they should be ready for wherever they're showing up. All those faces and names nobody knows anything about in the voters' pamphlets. There'll be another way to track into those. But there's so many races this time that it's really important to vote for in that race, those races as well.
The voters pamphlet should be coming out on July. Yeah, the people, yeah. And such an interesting thing to hold on to. Now, we are wrapping it up. So any other announcements, and could you make them quick? Yes, of the candidate forum.
All right, my name is Melanie Hanshaw, and I'm the Vice President of our County League, and also co-chair of the Candidate Forums Committee. Just briefly, we've been holding candidate forums for the primary election. We've had 2 already, and the next one is tomorrow from 2 to 3:30 at the downtown Vancouver Community Library. That will be for 2 races, the Clark County Auditor, which will be interesting. We've had the same auditor for years and years, Greg Kinsey. So that's a big change. So come check it out. There are 4 candidates in the primary, and then of course 2 will advance to the general. So that's tomorrow. The next, oh, and then the county clerk is also tomorrow. There are 3 candidates running for that. So we have primary forums, just a little education, for every race that has more than 2 candidates at this point filed for running in that race. So more than 2. So there are many races that will be in the general that we will have forums for in the September timeframe. But you won't see them yet in the primaries because we are a top 2 state, so the top 2 candidates automatically advance to the general. So during primary time, if there's only 2 candidates registered for that race, we just leave that for the general election timing to educate voters, and we focus on all races that have 3 or more candidates. So a little education there for you, and yeah, our forums are on CBTV, so in our website, on our main page, public facing, it says candidate forums, and then the dates of the forums, and if it's already happened, our website has a link to the CBTV website recording of that forum. So we reach a lot more people through the recordings than we do in person.
I haven't watched it, I go there. So what is really interesting for me is not only
The Zoom people to hear what you're saying.
So I don't go to the website, I actually go there and listen to what is, and watch what's going on. And so I had a question for her, because what is interesting for me is not only to listen to the person who is responding to the question. They each get the same question and it just alternates. So the first one person is not always number 1 and the other one get whatever. So they all get a chance at the question. And the questions are good. But it's really interesting watching what's going on. And so my question to you was, and I haven't gone and watched the program itself, do they show all of it at the same time, or do they zero in on the person answering it? Because there is a difference in how you can understand what they're like.
Yeah, it is really interesting to watch them sit close to each other at a table and listen to each other and talk. But no, the CBTV camera generally zooms into the one person who is speaking, and then they'll zoom out on occasion just to keep it from being boring, and of course zoom into our moderator. So no, if you want to see the other candidates shift and react when their opponent is speaking, you have to be there live. All right, thanks, Edric. So any questions about forums, please come see me after.
All right, well, that's the show. Yes, that was my last. We are going to have a very fun picnic. We're going to do it at a different place. It's a little bit farther. Why don't you call up another member and say, let's carpool on August 15th, noon, at Louisville Park. Now, you as a member will be given an email, so look for it, that will have all of the details, exactly what the shelter is and how to find it. If you would like to volunteer for anything and have a conversation before you do so, send me an email. I'm receiving the emails at lwvclarkcounty@gmail.com. We could use any help with putting everything away. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you at the picnic. And always excessive praise to John Lada. John sometimes gets surprises. Today he got a surprise, and doesn't he make it all happen? We couldn't do it without him.
four chairs stay anyway.
Should stop recording.